All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down a powerful three-word slogan that's been popping up in streets all across America. No kings. It's a chant you're hearing right now, but it has some seriously deep historical roots, and we're going to unpack exactly what it means. So, what's the deal? Why this slogan, and why right now? I mean, it's 2026. Is America about to get an actual monarch? Or is there something much, much deeper going on here? And look, the answer here isn't about some literal crown and throne. No, this is all about power. Who has it, how much of it they should have, and maybe most importantly, where we draw the line? To really get what's happening today, we've got to rewind a bit. We need to go back to where this whole idea started. So let's take a quick trip back in time. You know, the United States was basically born from this very idea of no kings. Think about it. 1776, the revolution was all about breaking away from a monarch, right? King George III. Then, just a little over a decade later, you get the Constitution, which set up a republic, not a kingdom. And the whole point, the core principle behind all of it, was to make sure that no single person could ever get that kind of absolute unchecked power. That was the goal. Okay, so that's the history lesson. But let's fast forward to right now. How is that old foundational idea being used in the 21st century? In today's world, no kings is a really potent political slogan. It's basically shorthand, a quick way to say that no leader, I don't care who they are or how popular they might be, should ever be considered above the law or have limitless power. And this whole idea really rests on three main pillars. First, pretty simple, the law applies to everyone, period. Second, a hard no to any abuse of executive power. And third, and this is a big one, that our democracy itself has to be protected. All right, so we get the definition, but that just brings up the next obvious question, right? Why is this all blowing up now? And who exactly are the people out there protesting? Well, it's not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm of a few different anxieties all hitting at once. You've got this deep-seated fear of leadership becoming too powerful, real concerns about the state of our democracy and elections, plus frustration over specific government decisions. And all of that is layered on top of a general feeling that trust in our major institutions is just eroding. And when you actually look at who's out on the streets, it's not just one type of person. It's this interesting mix, this coalition of different groups. You've got your seasoned activists, a ton of passionate students, and even dedicated political supporters, all coming together under this one simple banner. And this is where things get really interesting. This slogan, it isn't owned by any single political group. Think about it. One group might be shouting, "No kings," because they see a new executive order as a massive overreach. At the same time, another group, maybe from the opposite side, could be using the exact same slogan to protest a court decision they feel is anti-democratic. It's all about pushing back against what they see as unchecked power. Of course, not everyone agrees on what these protests mean. On one side, you have people who see this as an absolutely essential defense of freedom. For them, it's how regular citizens keep power in check. But on the other side, you have critics who say, hold on, this no kings thing is just political theater. They see it as a way to blow policy disagreements way out of proportion and just create more division. So while this fight is playing out on American streets, the rest of the world is watching closely. Because, let's be honest, what happens in the US rarely ever stays in the US. There's always a ripple effect. I mean, it's just a fact. The US has a huge influence on world affairs. Any kind of political instability there can send shockwaves through the global economy. A big shift in US policy, maybe one that's pushed by these very protests, could completely rearrange international alliances. So yeah, that's why everyone is paying attention. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. The whole No Kings slogan isn't really about a guy in a castle. It's a symbol. It represents a very real, very modern fight over what power should even look like in a democracy. It's about people wrestling with that fundamental fear of losing control to a force they see as becoming absolute. And that really leaves us with this huge question, one that gets to the absolute heart of this whole thing. It's a question every democracy has to grapple with. Who actually gets to decide when a leader has too much power?
Thanks for your continuous support. It really motivates us to bring you daily news and viral videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and share it with your family.